Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel Storytime with Dolly, where I tell you stories every week. And this week I'm back again. I'm back again after a very long time. Not that I have a lot many subscribers, but जो भी मेरे 20 to 25 subscribers है उनके लिए. Thank you so much for sticking with me. And today I'm going to be reading you guys a couple of stories from the subreddit India, and we're gonna see some interesting stories, and let's get started. My village is in hinterlands. अब hinterlands इंडिया में मतलब पता नहीं, I've never heard of such names in India, but ठीक है. My village is in hinterlands. Often the villagers would say not to go out at night in jungle because there are spirits about. One time, me and my brother lost our way when going from one village to another during the evening. We saw some lights flashing in the darkness along with sounds of ghost whispers in the dark. We were so scared and thought the ghosts are gonna get us. Fortunately, the ghosts did not see us and we found our way back. Years later, when I recalled the incident, it made more sense. Probably the ghosts were nothing but then a group of Naxals going about whatever they do in the cover of night and spreading ghost stories so commoners would stay away from the jungles at night. Now, खत्म हो गया, इतना ही था. This is a very interesting thing, like I really think so कि ये जो भी कहानियाँ गाँव में spread किया जाता है, right? These stories, I feel like these are man-made stories and these are like calculatively spread in the villages so that you are able to control the amount of people going out at night because you have some bad activities that you're going to be doing at night. So yeah, it makes sense. That's also something that I have been, I have this in my mind, like, yeah. Second story is, it's a long one, okay? I'll share my personal experience. It will be a long read. 2 years ago, I went to Uttarakhand with my friends. Strange things were happening from the beginning. Train, which was usually on time, was 10 hours late. India mein hota hi hai. Nothing unusual, sorry. Even we had a hard time getting a bus to Dehradun from Delhi. After reaching Dehradun, we went to Mussoorie. We went to some old mines there which was supposed to be haunted. We made sure that in case if there were any ghosts living there, they will be pissed off. After this, we went to George Everest. By this time, it was dark. The road to the top was made of stones, so it was not possible to have pillion in two-wheelers. So we decided that 3 of us will take the bikes, the scooty, to top while other 3 will hike. I was riding the scooty. It was very dark and only light source were headlights. On the left side of the road was hill, while on right side was a cliff. We 3 were riding together, but then after some time I was left behind. Suddenly, I started feeling negative energies around me and negative thoughts started to come in my mind like ghosts and stuff. I was convincing myself to not be afraid and be reasonable. Then I noticed that around 100 meters ahead there was a right turn and a girl in white dress was standing right there. Okay, let me just break this story here. I don't know why all the ghosts ever described, especially in India, are number 1 is a lady. Number 2, they're always wearing white, specifically white sari. So, I don't know. Have any of you guys ever encountered a male ghost? Let me know in the comment section. So let's continue with the story. I was shit scared and tried convincing myself that she's just a girl and decided that I will not look at her. Believe me, at these times you end up thinking a lot. So I went ahead to the turn and the girl suddenly raised her hand to front, probably asking for lift. I freaked out, set the throttle to full speed, and then the girl started running after me. It was difficult to control the scooty in the path, and with a girl in a white dress running behind, it's even impossible. I realized that I was going towards the right side of the road, that is towards a cliff, and the scooty was out of my control. In my mind, I even accepted the fact that it's my last day. Suddenly, a four-wheeler came from opposite direction and there was a lot of light. I felt a rush of positive energy and realized that the girl is no more following me. I brought back the bike to my control and went to the top. I asked others who were on the bike if they saw any girl, to which they replied they did not see anyone. Even the others who were hiking did not meet anyone while coming to the top. When it was time to go down, I had to ride the scooty again as the three hikers did not know how to ride the bike. I was shit scared but got convinced when they made a plan in which I will be in between the two bikes. That is, one bike will be ahead of me while the other will be behind. It started pretty well, but after some time, I ended up being the last one in the formation. Okay, when you guys have decided that you're going to be in the middle, I don't know how you ended up being the last one, but that's pretty, sad. I don't know. Suddenly, the front biker had a rush of adrenaline and was out of sight in no time. Once again, negative thoughts started to come in my mind. But since my friend was ahead, so it was fine. Suddenly, my scooty turned off. I tried to push ignition button, but there was no response. Not even the cha-cha-cha-cha noise. I got shit scared, shouted my friend's name, and fortunately he stopped just at the turn. Believe me, if I had some heart issues, I would have got a heart attack at that time. After a lot of trying, I realized that the key of scooty was turned to off. I turned it on and pushed ignition. Never in my life I was more relieved to hear the sound of an engine. Went to my friend and begged him to stay just behind me. Then we reached the bottom and cursed the friend who left us behind. This was most horrifying experience in my life. I still don't know if the girl was really a ghost or just a normal person. Maybe the scooty key turned off due to my leg as the path was of stones. But when I tried to start it and it did not respond, I had a mini heart attack. Okay. I mean, it. If I was in your place, I would definitely be scared and I would definitely not want to ride the bike or scooty on top of the hill like that. But yeah, I think it was an interesting one. Okay, there's another one. I have a weird experience to share. Till now, I'm not sure what had happened. I was around 12. My younger brother was 10. We lived in a village. Incident occurred around 10 days of death of a child in our neighborhood. One day in the night around 10 p.m., my brother started feeling sick. He was having fever and vomiting. He vomited in the washroom, which was inside our house. I thought of cleaning the bathroom, but we used to keep broom in our courtyard. I was shit scared to go in our courtyard at night, as just outside our courtyard there was a peepal tree. I know, I'm sure like every Indian have once in their lifetime heard about ghosts sitting below the peepal tree, right? Okay. We were told that ghosts come at night to rest on that tree. Our parents used to tell us that tree has been nailed by some tantric, so ghost would not come to that tree. Getting some courage, me and my brother went to courtyard and brought broom from the outside. After coming back, my brother did not talk to me and went to bed to sleep right away. I cleaned my washroom, I cleaned the washroom and went to sleep. Next morning, my brother was having very high fever. He was behaving strangely. He will continuously laugh for some time and then cry. My mother held him tightly and asked me to call a lady from the neighborhood. That lady had dealt with ghost possessions in the past. The lady came, she held my brother by one ear and started asking questions like, "Who are you? From where he came?" And then my brother started to talk to her like he was in pain and told her the direction by his hand movement and said, "From there." During this conversation, my brother's voice and dialect had changed. After a few minutes of this process, he started to ask for some water, but the lady forbade us to follow any of the requests. After some time, my brother fell unconscious. Now the lady put some water on his face. He regained his consciousness, looked exhausted. His voice and dialect became normal. He told that he saw some child sitting on people tree on that night. After that, he doesn't remember what had happened. The lady told us that if we had given water during the process, the ghost would have stayed permanently in the body. Told us that the ghost was of the dead child. The child who died was not from our area, he came from a different place, was staying in his maternal uncle's house for some holiday. He had similar dialect to what we have heard from my brother. This happened only once. After that, my brother never behaved like any different personality to rule out any mental disorder. I do not believe in ghosts, but still not able to figure out what was that. It all happened in front of me. My brother was 10 years old. Still think he could not have faked it, right? One guess is that my brother had learned his dialect when he played with him. Nothing more. Okay. Even me, right? I'm a lot interested into all this stuff, and but there are certain things where I feel like, okay, it cannot be true and it cannot be real, but then there's no other explanation to that. And for a 10 years old kid to be able to fake it like that, I think it is immensely not possible, at least for me. And the fact that gave me chills the most is the last line where he said that, or maybe he learned his dialect when he played with him. What I'm thinking is maybe he went there and he is playing with that dead kid's soul, and then he learned that dialect from him, and somehow he is just, manipulating him into killing himself so that both the souls can now play together forever. I mean, I don't know. It's just in my mind. Okay, I am going to read one last story for today and we'll be done. Okay. My great aunt grandmother's sister attended an all girls boarding school near Darjeeling when she was young. It was a spooky ancient building dating back to the colonial times, with a number of stories known to its residents. At night, girls would never go to the bathroom alone, always bringing a buddy with them, and no one would ever sleep in a room by themselves. One night, my great aunt was asleep in her dorm when she was woken by a grumbling voice in the darkness. She opened her eyes and saw what appeared to be a shadow barely visible in the moonlight. Thinking it was just her sleepy imagination or a roommate, she closed her eyes again. Suddenly, she felt hands around her throat and a crushing sensation on her chest. She could barely make out that someone was strangling her while sitting on her torso. She tried to scream but could only manage gasps and yelps. She could not move. Then the lights turned on and my great aunt was free. Her roommates stood alarmed next to the light switch, asking her what was wrong. They spent the rest of the night squeezing onto the other beds. Now, the next morning, they told the matron who came to the room and had my great aunt's bed removed. Apparently, there used to be a sweeper lady who would grumble a lot. She had been old and fragile and was one day found dead lying on that particular bed. Well, that's the story she told me. Personally, I like to believe it was sleep paralysis. There were some other encounters she had with ghosts in that place, but none were as scary as this one. Now, first of all, when someone was dead on that bed, why would you not remove that bed there and then? I mean, it's a waste of material, but I would not want a bed where a human died recently would still be there for others to come and sleep. Okay. And the second thing that she told about sleep paralysis, I think that this is the most probable thing that would have happened at that time, but obviously that too is influenced by, I think, some energies around that place. But I think most likely she did have a sleep paralysis episode, and of course I have a lot of things to say on that, but maybe later on other episodes. But for today, this is all I had for you guys. I hope you guys have an amazing week and weekends to come, and yeah, looking forward to bringing for you guys another sets of interesting stories, horror stories to be specific. And if you guys have any stories or any incidents, episodes that you guys have gone through or met, that you want me to read it out for people to hear, then just drop the stories onto the email ID that I'll be providing down in the description below. So yeah, bye bye.